I'm in this.
Mason Ryckman, Technology and Vehicle Safety. Safety has always been an issue in automakers design cars. Airbags have saved up to 6,000 people's lives a year. Stability control saves lives and reduces crashes by large amounts. Stability control reduces the risk of crashes by 50%. Many vehicles also get better as they get newer each year. The death rate is cut by 61% when using seatbelts. There have been a lot of changes in vehicles over the last few years. The new technology in vehicles today is based safety and comfort. Safety has always been the biggest issue in designing cars. The horn was invented in vehicles in 1908. Horns help to reduce crashes by letting people honk at people if they're getting too close to them or about to hit something. Horns also let people scare off animals off the road by honking at them if they don't move. Each new design of hydraulic brake hoses go through 8 different tests to find the lasting time on the vehicles. The 8 tests determine construction, expansion, burst strength, and whip test, test soles test, cold test, salt test, and pressure test. The hoses are also exposed to grease and sparks that are thrown off the brake lines. In 1969, GM started putting breakaway steering wheels on their Paulus. Breakaway steering wheels break away in the middle of the shaft when so many pounds of pressure are forced on it by bodies and they crash. The automakers quit making breakaway steering wheels when they started using airbags. In 1990, automakers started using shocks and struts that are filled with oil and sometimes gas. These struts or shocks produce a smoother and quieter ride when driving. They also last longer than the old spring ones. And also in 1990, automakers started using a plastic film in between 2 sheets of glass on the front windows in vehicles. These windows protect the people in the car from flying glass during a crash by not letting the window shatter into a bunch of pieces. The new windshields also stop rocks from coming through the front window when passing cars. Seatbelts were also first used in horse-drawn wagons to protect people from falling out. Over the years, we learned that the slacker that people have in their seatbelts, the more they will get hurt. Death is cut by 61% when using a seatbelt. In the 1950s, Ford started installing seatbelts and reinforced door latches in all their vehicles to help reduce the risk of being ejected during a crash. In 1956, Ford offered the Ford Lifeguards design in all the vehicles. The Lifeguard system had padded sun visors, dashes, door panels, seatbelts in the doors, and also double grip door latches on all 4 doors. In 1977, the NHTSA said that at least 250,000 vehicles must have airbags to help reduce the risk of being killed by the steering wheel in a crash. By 1990, most cars had independent suspension so that people don't bounce around so much on the rough roads. GM was the first automaker to put 3-point seatbelts in their vehicles. 3-point seatbelts are better than the 2-point seatbelts because they hold bodies to the seat better and reduce the head and neck movement. In the 1960s, GM started putting reinforced door beams in their vehicles to reduce the risk of people being crushed in crashes. By 1975, all vehicles were being built with seatbelts being installed in them. Airbags were first tested in 1960 by the U.S. Air Force. Airbags have saved many lives each year in the United States. From 1986 to 2000, airbags saved up to 94,000 people's lives. Mercedes-Benz was the first automaker to put airbags in their vehicle. Earlier airbags were often very low, but they wouldn't deploy. The sound intensity of them was about 175 decibels. A healthy eardrum is damaged by 185 decibels. Nowadays, airbags produce about 1/10 the decibels that they used to. The NHTSA calculated that the death cut by 60% when using a seatbelt and having an airbag in vehicles. Nowadays, there aren't just front airbags in vehicles. They're not just in steering wheels either, like they used to be when they were first in vehicles. Some cars today have 8 airbags. Airbags can get in steering columns, dashboards, roof rails, doors, and seats. Side airbags provide cushion between bodies and shooting vehicles. Stability control saves many lives in a year in the United States. Stability control in vehicles reduces the risk of crashes by 50%. The NHTSA estimates that stability control will prevent 160 to 240,000 injuries a year once all the vehicles have the system in 2012. The NHTSA also estimates that stability control in vehicles will save up to 5,000 to 10,000 lives a year. The system also reduces the risk of rolling over by 63%. In 2010, GM started the system in 85% of their vehicles. Stability control is a system that is built into cars. It measures the car's steering input against the vehicle's traction at the wheels and the turn of the front tires of the vehicle. If the stability control detects a skid, the brakes are put on automatically by people's cars. This helps steer the vehicle back into the right direction. In 2011, vehicle companies also install the adaptive cruise control. People can set their cruise control and choose how many feet they want to stay behind vehicles. People can set their cruise control and choose, when this system detects cars in front of the vehicles are too close, the system slows down so that it stays a steady distance behind the front vehicle. Adaptive cruise control also pre-charges the brakes. This means that when somebody steps on the brake, the sensitivity of the braking is a lot greater when they're using the braking system. Optimal terrain management also was put in vehicles in 2011. This lets people turn out to normal, mud, ruts, sand, grass, gravel, and snow mode. Once a terrain is chosen, the knob, the transmission will shift into different gears. This will also make the throttle more aggressive so vehicles don't get stuck. In 2011, some pickups had trailer sway control installed. If a person's trailer starts to sway, the control applies brakes to some of the tires or the engine to torque is changed so that the vehicle stops swaying. There have been a lot of different technology changes in vehicles. Vehicles are becoming lighter, faster, more attractive, and more powerful. They are getting better gas mileage. They are also becoming more comfortable. Seats are now heated and even cooled so that when people sit, they're not too hot or too cold. A lot of vehicles even have backup cameras so they don't have to turn around when they back up. Old vehicles used to make about 10 miles per gallon. Now some cars make up to 40 miles per gallon. Brakes used to be replaced at 35,000 miles on most vehicles, but now a lot of cars can go up to 85,000 miles before replacing the brakes.
Stop. It's not stopping.